Okay, gang, here we are with a video. It's just a video of encouragement. This is just going to be probably 5 to 10 minutes long. I'm going to do a series of these over the next months or however long that we're kind of doing things from home. And I just want you to be able to get some things in the middle of the week or anytime you want to just listen to something that can just kind of encourage your heart in the midst of some difficult times that we've been going through. I want to start out today with a quote from C.S. Lewis. At least it's attributed to C.S. Lewis. I haven't fact checked it. Whether C.S. Lewis actually said it or not, the quote has a great deal of truth and validity to it. I just want to read it and then just encourage you a little bit from the scriptures. And the question that was posed here was, what might C.S. Lewis say about, what's going on in the country and in the world right now with COVID and with all of the upheaval that's going on right now? And this is something that he said in 1948, and it dealt with people's fear about at that time, the atomic bomb, which obviously was a big thing. I can remember being in some of those bomb drills, even when I was in elementary school in the 60s. And so this is what he responded to that. He said, in one way, we think a great deal too much of the atomic bomb. How are we to live in an atomic age? I'm tempted to reply, why? Same way you would have lived in the 16th century when the plague visited London almost every year, or as you would have lived in the Viking Age, when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat any night, or indeed, as you're already living in an age of cancer, an age of syphilis, an age of paralysis, an age of air raids, or an age of railway accidents, an age of motor accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented, and quite a high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. We had indeed one very great advantage over our ancestors: anesthetics. But we have that still. It is perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of a painful and premature death to a world which already bristled with such chances, and in which death itself was not a chance at all, but a certainty. This is the first point to be made. And the first action to be taken is to pull ourselves together. If we are all going to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things: praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint and a game of darts, not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, but they need not dominate our minds. And as I've read that, I've read other things online. I just really enjoyed this one because it's a perspective giver. Uh, we tend to think in a microcosm of our lives, how things affect us, what it's like for me, but we don't really spread out over all of the span of history, all the times that people have gone through suffering. And, that leads a lot of times to the issue of, why does God allow suffering? And I've never blamed God for suffering. Always blamed man's sinfulness. Suffering didn't start at creation. It started when man rebelled. And everything that's happened in the world that's been negative has come out of man's sin and disobedience, and it's a work of the enemy. It's not the work of God. I want to go back maybe several thousand years to David as he wrote in Psalm 46. And it's just an indication he faced turmoil and trials and troubles in his world as well. He was aware of the problems, but he placed his faith solidly in God who could always be trusted. Psalm chapter 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change, and though the mountains slip into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake with its swelling pride. We will not fear. And that's the message today. Our circumstances don't determine what happens to us in our lives entirely, because God's with us. And in the midst of everything, God doesn't promise us that we're never going to have a trouble or a problem or a virus or riots or financial upheaval in our society. What God says is, I'm with you always, even to the very end of the age. And God promises us grace through our trials. And so we trust God. And I just want to encourage you today to trust God. I love you guys. And I'll talk to you next time.